Now at 6, the Department of Education is investigating Portland Public Schools and the OSAA after a transgender student competed in girls' track and field meets. Plus,
remembering the victims as work continues on a new bridge a year after the Key Bridge collapse here in Baltimore. I'm Jay Gray. Full details coming up.
And a parent's worst fear comes true.
I'm not supposed to bury our children. Our children are supposed to bury us.
Now that mother is demanding justice after a crash killed one daughter and injured another.
And taking a live look of downtown Portland from our Rose City Skycam, KGW is calling for a weather impact alert this afternoon for heavy showers and thunderstorms. Our Rod Hill will walk you through your day. Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Wednesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Ashley Grams. We will have a traffic report coming up from Chris McGinnis here, but first, we want to get to Rod Hill. Rod, talk us through that weather impact alert and the timing here.
Well, everything is tied to this big low spinning out in the Pacific. There's a front with this that will come in around midnight or so tonight. Remember, yesterday we had the record warmth of 80. We're going to be back in the 70s today, and the warmer the air gets, the more inherently unstable it is. Now, I do want to be clear that it's nice out right now. It will be dry all morning into the afternoon. There's the Pioneer Park building camera looking at the square. We're at 57 degrees. There may be some fog pockets around, but no weather issues this morning. Just lovely weather. 68 at noon, back up into the 70s this afternoon. Then starting at 3 o'clock, the KGW weather impact alert for a thunderstorm threat. We think there will be storms in the area at 5 o'clock this afternoon for sure. I have the alert up starting at 3 and going all the way to midnight. So a stormy evening. We're talking thunderstorms, wind, hail, and even just the intensity of heavy downpours could produce a problem all in itself, especially for folks out driving on the roads during the time these storms are moving through. And of course, a reminder, when you hear thunder, take shelter. Chris, on paper, this looks to be a pretty good light show coming our way.
Yeah, and of course, you and I will be streaming at 10 o'clock with a more in-depth look at that weather moving in later today. For now, your morning drive through Wilsonville looks pretty good. Door number 1 showing the I-5 commute there. Interstate 84 looks pretty good out through Gresham and East Portland. That was out near 185th. Or 181st, I should say. A reminder, if you're one of the thousands going to the Oregon coast here during spring break, that this is still active. This sunken grade area on Highway 26 near milepost 13. This is video that we shot on Monday, and you can see cars having to slow way down as they hit that big bump in the road. It is still there. ODOT's still working to make repairs on that. We'll keep you posted. Ladies?
Thanks for that reminder, Chris. And take a look at your screen. Authorities are searching for this 4-year-old. They say Belia Cardoza went missing from Portland with her father, Sammy Cardoza. Last Wednesday, March 19th, the Department of Human Services says Belia may be at risk. Authorities say Sammy's partner, Hannah Simone Sigari, may also be with them. Now, if you have any information, you can call 911 or the Oregon Child Abuse Hotline. That's the number on your screen. That's 1-855-503-SAFE.
Washington County detectives are looking for more potential victims of this man. Take a good look at your screen. He's 22-year-old Jordan Bayer. Deputies believe he sexually assaulted multiple women. Bayer was arrested yesterday near Banks. He's been indicted on 21 counts, including rape, sexual abuse, and luring a minor, among others. Washington County investigators believe there are more victims who haven't come forward. Anyone with information on Bayer should call the Washington County Sheriff's Office. That number is at the bottom of your screen right there.
And Portland Public Schools is under investigation by the U.S. Department of Education for allowing a transgender athlete to compete in girls' track and field. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joining us live this morning from McDaniel High School. Thomas, what did the letter from the agency say?
Yeah, well, actually, I got the letter from the Department of Education right here, and it says that Portland Public Schools allowed a male student to compete in girls' track and field and change in the girls' locker room. Now, to clarify here, we're talking about a transgender McDaniel High School student. The letter goes on to say that it will not allow Portland Public Schools to trample on anti-discrimination procedures. This all comes after the Oregonian reported that a McDaniel transgender high school student competed and won in the 200 and 400 meter track races at a Portland Interscholastic meet to open this spring season. Federal officials say that athletes' inclusion in the race is a violation of Title IX and have opened investigations into Portland Public and the Oregon School Activities Association. OSAA told KGW they're consulting with lawyers to determine how to respond. In a statement, PPS Superintendent Kimberly Armstrong says they're working with local and state partners and says the school district is in full compliance with Oregon state law, which may differ from federal guidance. She also stressed my commitment and our district's commitment to doing what's right for all students, especially those most vulnerable, remains unwavering. Some state Republicans applauded the move, including House Republican leader Christine Drazen, who wrote in a statement, "Treating every student with dignity, safety, and respect means defending fair competition in women's sports." And this investigation all comes after an executive order last month from the Trump administration trying to bar transgender athletes in girls' sports. Schools that do not abide by this executive order risk losing federal funding, though to date, guys, no public schools across the country have lost that money just yet. Guys?
Our Thomas Schultz reporting live from McDaniel High School. Thank you, Thomas. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield and Washington AG Nick Brown have joined a petition urging a federal judge to halt President Donald Trump's dismantling of the Department of Education. More than 20 states sued the administration ahead of President Trump's executive order last week. They argue that the president can't shut down and make drastic changes to the department without the approval of Congress. They're demanding a preliminary injunction to stop layoffs, as well as a transfer of student loan management and special education services to outside agencies. In a statement, Rayfield said, quote, "This is about protecting students, educators, and the heart of our educational system from this reckless dismantling that will strip vital resources and support for students."
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz says he takes full responsibility for putting together a group chat that included a journalist. The Atlantic's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, says he was added to the group chat on the messaging app Signal. And that reporter claims they were sharing plans to attack Houthi rebels in Yemen. Here's what Waltz said in an interview with Fox News.
I take responsibility. I built the group.
Okay.
So but look, that's the part that we have to figure out. And that's the part that embarrassing, yes, but Pete and I are veterans. We know these operations. He has been an excellent Secretary of Defense.
Now, Democrats are calling for an investigation into how Goldberg was added. Top intelligence officials will testify in front of the House of Representatives later today. Meanwhile, NBC News has learned from defense officials that the Pentagon warned of a vulnerability in the Signal app. The warning came before reports of Waltz's military chat leak. The Pentagon email says Russia-aligned hackers were targeting users discussing military and government matters on Ukraine. It advised updating the app and adjusting settings.
Portland City Council will soon consider an ordinance that would ban the use of artificial intelligence to set rental rates in the city. District 3 Councilor Angelita Murillo says the ordinance is meant to keep large rental companies from using an algorithm to generate pricing to drive up rents. Opponents say it could stifle housing growth in Portland, but Murillo says it's needed to fight modern-day price fixing.
In the past, you could meet in a smoky back room and make that deal. And in the 21st century, you can do that through an algorithm. So it's really important that we ensure that the free market is actually working as it's intended and that renters and consumers have choices that are protected.
The ordinance will get its first reading at City Council on April 2nd.
And in case you missed it, NBC's Deal or No Deal Island crowned a new winner last night and set a new record in the process. David Gine went through 24 cases with the banker. That's model Chrissy Teigen, turning down all offers and reaching the final two. One of those cases only had $75. The other, more than $12 million. And that's when Teigen offered him her final offer.
Highest offer in Deal or No Deal history. $5,800,000.
Wow. Had Gine not taken the deal, he would have gone home with only $75.
What does he go with? Oh my goodness. And hey, if you are trying to find a way to make your millions, you have a chance tonight. No one won Monday's Powerball, which means the estimated jackpot is now at $484 million. Here are your numbers right here, in case you need to check your ticket or in case you forgot what you have. 6, 23, 35, 36, 47, and D, and 12. There's 12 right there. Are those your numbers, Rod Hill? Did you win?
Well,
Are you coming to work tomorrow? I feel like we'll know if you won if you're at work tomorrow.
I play the Washington State Lotto, and that jackpot tonight is over $5 million, which is really high for that game. Now in Washington State, you give them $1, you get two lines. Powerball, you give them $2, you get 1 line. All right, here's a look at our severe weather outlook map. You know, we don't find ourselves in these convective outlooks very often. So basically everything's shaded, which is everything in Oregon and Washington, all of us, in a thunderstorm risk area. And then when you get into the yellow shading, which is up I-5 from Roseburg all the way to Seattle, here's at least the heightened or elevated risk factor for severe thunderstorms, meaning by definition, severe is you've got hailstones up to 1 inch in diameter or bigger, and you've got wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or higher. We do believe there is a heightened chance at least that some of these individual storm cells tonight will have wind gusts at least approaching 50 miles per hour, and that can do some damage of its own. So we have the KGW weather impact alert starting at 3 o'clock this afternoon and extending all the way to the midnight hour for this storm risk. So I want you to understand you've got a great morning, and really at least the first half of the afternoon looks wonderful. 57 out the door, dry at noon, 68. We'll warm up into the 70s, and then somewhere in that 3 or 4 o'clock hour, the warming stops and the thunderstorm show potentially begins at 5 o'clock. Futurecast does like storms in the area with temperatures in the 60s. Here's a snapshot on Futurecast 4 o'clock. Here's 5. Here's 6. Look at all the bright colors. Those are heavy rain cells with thunder and lightning expected to be embedded. Now, right now it's lovely. You can see the cherry blossoms down in Salem in front of the Capitol. It's 53. Good visibility this morning. May or may not be some fog pockets around. We're at 57 in town. Everybody does have a storm threat today. Out east, it's more of a spotty late day threat. Futurecast shows a storm around 6 p.m. nearing Pendleton, by the way. Your high back up to 78. Here's our 7 days. 77 will be another record high today before the storms begin. And then we're back into the 50s for highs the next couple of days. And tomorrow, some of the rain shower activity is expected to be heavy again. Maybe not stormy, but heavy rain. Chris McGinnis will join me at 10 o'clock this morning. We'll have live forecast chat for you with the thunderstorm threat coming later today and this evening. That's on our KGW Plus streaming channel at 10 a.m. this morning.